Is there a way to deliberately live a more spiritual life, to bring more meaning into your life? There definitely is. And if you follow these 10 tips every day as much as possible, you'll start to feel a lot more peace and satisfaction from your life. So, tip number 1 to living more spiritual life: be intentional. Setting clear intentions that are in alignment with your values is a great habit to develop. When you take a few moments at the beginning of each day to determine what it is you want to do, to feel, and to experience it that day, you put yourself in the position that empowers you to take control of your life. Then, as you move through the day, you'll be amazed that life begins to provide resources matching your intention as long as you remain focused upon it. This is just the beginning of spiritual mastery. Tip number 2 is release your baggage, let go of the past. If you hold on to the past, you'll likely stay stuck in negative patterns that aren't serving you. If you seek to move beyond negativity and live your life from a higher spiritual level, you must be willing to let go of the past and live more fully in the present moment. As you release the past, you will find that a tremendous weight is lifted from you, clearing the way to feel more centered in every task you do each day. So on to spiritual tip number 3, and that is become more mindful. Mindfulness is essential for a more connected spiritual life. Simply put, mindfulness is the act of becoming more aware of your life. When you practice mindfulness, you focus in on the experiences you are having right now, whether it's the feelings or perceptions you're having at any given moment, or an action you're engaging in, or simply noticing your breath moving in and out of your body. When you become more mindful, your awareness expands greatly. You begin to feel more inner peace, and your entire life experience becomes more joyful. And you'll feel an enhanced sense of richness you haven't really felt in your life before. So on to spiritual tip number 4. Trust your inner voice. I've noticed that people who deliberately take a spiritual path learn that they must learn to trust their inner voice more than they trust the pressures and expectations of the world. The more you listen to and trust your inner voice, the more intuitive you become. Those inner callings are truly the way to connect to the creator of the universe and begin to understand your own life calling. Whether you are sensing a calling from God or from your highest self, or just simply a gut instinct about what you should do. Paying attention to your intuitive source will help lead you to more fulfilling relationships and positive experiences in your own daily life. Now, here's tip number 5 for living a more spiritual life. Do not judge. Remember, you are no more or less important than any other human being on this planet, and it's natural for us humans to judge. We judge ourselves and we judge others. And if you're a harsh judge of yourself, then remind yourself daily that you are every bit as important as any other being. I don't care if they're a CEO or a president of something and you're not. You have an important role to play. We are all an important part of the fabric of humanity, and each one of us will touch more people than you can ever realize. Also keep in mind that every other human being is just as important as you. It's easy to look past others as strangers that have nothing to do with you, but I encourage you just to notice everyone and remind yourself they are a child of God just like you. They are the offspring of the Most High Creator. Wonder a little more about others. Put yourself out there. Get to know more people. You never know who your next best friend or partner might be and where you will find them. Imagine humanity as connected lights. If one light goes out, the others go dim. So honor every person and bless them on their own path. You and everyone you'll ever meet matters. Now, on to spiritual growth tip number 6. Stop sweating the small stuff. Really, most of the little things we fuss and stew about are really meaningless. But the problem with making these little things into big things means you'll end up wasting valuable time and energy on something that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of your life. So when you're freaking out about something petty, ask yourself, will this even matter 6 months from now? If the answer is no, drop it and move on. Refocus yourself on something that makes you feel happy and creative inside. So now we're at spiritual growth tip number 7. Enrich yourself. Read books and listen to videos by spiritual leaders, pastors, philosophers, or even poets that resonate with you. Notice that when you're listening or reading, if you're feeling better, if your heart and mind feel clearer, and if the answer is yes, then follow that person. It's important to have outside influencers that can bolster your spiritual confidence when it feels a little shaky and keep you on track with your own values. Make sure you follow your top ones on social media and spend time each day taking in a new thought or message from them. So now we're up to spiritual growth tip number 8, which is make someone else happy. Jesus told us that the greatest among us is servant to all. Scientists experimented to see what would happen when they got a group of healthy people together to lend support to sick people by calling them and encouraging these sick people each day. A surprising trend occurred. While those receiving support appeared to gain some mild benefit, the real beneficiaries were those lending a supportive ear. Those who offered support experienced dramatic improvements in their quality of life, several times more so than those they were helping. When you lose yourself to service to others, you miraculously find tremendous happiness and deeper spiritual connection. So spiritual tip number 9 is notice nature. Paying attention to this magnificent earth all around you and its complex beauty can instantly raise your spiritual vibration. Notice the shape and structure of the leaves and branches of trees. Stop to ponder the vast number of stars in the sky. Relish the unique designs of thousands of animals and flowers and fruits of our world. When you start to study nature, you realize there's an elegant and beautiful design behind every plant, tree, creature, and person. And the more you allow yourself to enjoy the beauty, the more you realize you are a part of a very special and unique experience on this magnificent earth designed by the Creator. So finally, tip number 10 for living a more spiritual life. Remind yourself that this life has an expiration date, that it won't go on forever. Now that might sound scary at first or something you want to avoid thinking about, honestly, but we tend to appreciate things more when we know there are limits to them. When you tune into the fact that there are a finite number of days on this earth journey, it automatically causes you to remember how precious each day in this life is, and that will inspire you to make every single day count. That each day here is a gift not to be taken for granted. Hopefully, you'll practice these spiritual tips each day and begin to feel more oneness with God as you do. On this earth, we tend to feel very separate and alone, separate from God, separate from each other, and in reality, there is no separation. Jesus taught in John 17:22, and the glory which you gave me, I have given them, that they may be one just as we are one, I in them and you and me, and they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know you have sent me, and I have loved them as you have loved me. Or again, in Colossians 1:16-17, he said, all things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. A great reminder that we are all born and held together by the one creative force in the universe. I hope that you celebrate the oneness with the Creator each day of your life and find your spiritual understandings deepening as you do.